From the studios of Way Happy, this is Mr. Meyer doing 9-4 for the second time because I'd like to share something with you that if you want to record your audio notes, video notes for your friends and students, it's a wise idea to make sure that you have the mic on. Otherwise, you might have to do it again many hours after you had been working on it and wondering why the sound is not there. So we're going to do P4. Yes, 9-4. It's going to be like that. We're going to do P4, slope of a line, point slope form, slope intercept, graphing, and parallel and perpendicular lines. So let's get started. Remember, slope of a line is just the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values. That's what slope is defined as. So when you do that, if I give you an example right here, if I want to find the slope, then just remember I got to label one of these points x1, y1, and one x2, y2. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. Pick your favorite, but then go ahead and figure out what the change in their y values are. For me, that would be 1 minus a negative 2. And on the bottom, 0 minus a 3. And I get myself here a 3 over a negative 3, which is a negative 1, and that doesn't make sense because why on earth would my slope be negative? So let me check one more time. 1 minus a negative 2 is 1 plus 2 is 3, and 0 minus 3 is negative 3. It's not that line, you goober. Wow. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be that kind of day. 3 negative 2 is right here, and 0, 1 is right here. And yeah, that is a negative slope, right? If it goes decreasing from left to right, that's a negative slope, which my slope is. And if it's going right to, when you go left to right, if it's going uphill, that would be positive. And I feel much better. Whew, did you hear the brain firing on that one? I am learning. All right, what about point slope of an equation? So most of you are really comfortable with y equals mx plus b because it's been pounded in your brains. That's called point slope, and the reason being is, slope intercept, because the reason being is you are given a slope and it gives you the y-intercept. And so we call it slope-intercept form. It's a very nice form, but sometimes poor point slope form is overlooked, and the reason I would want it is if I have a point and a slope, it's very easy to get an equation. So here we go. I'm going to look at the second one here just because, and I can figure out the slope by counting. The rise is 1, 2, 3, and the run is 1, 2. So I can tell you right now in the positive direction that this slope is 3 over 2. You could have also done your usual slope formula. But now look, we have the slope. We pick a point. Doesn't matter which point you pick. And you have an equation. So you would have y minus y1 equals the slope x minus x1. And I am finished. That is your equation in point slope form. Now you could clean it up and turn it into y equals mx plus b by just distributing the 3 halves through and moving that 1 over. Or you could leave it there if they just say they want it in point slope form. And I'm assuming that's what they wanted, so I'm leaving it there. Just so you know, there's the different forms, right? There's general form where you put everything on one side, and sometimes I'll hear a lot of times that they don't want fractions. A, B, and C are all nice integers, or at least, yeah, integers. And A is usually positive. Then you have slope-intercept form, which is right there. You got point slope. You got vertical line, which is x equals whatever, and you have a horizontal line, y equals whatever. So let's see if you can handle this question or two that I throw you, and I'll see you in a few. All right, beautiful work there, and nice job. Let's talk about graphing on a calculator. You can always graph by hand, but sometimes it's fun to use technology, right? I use Desmos in class because it's gorgeous and it's easy. Sometimes you don't have Desmos. You got to use your calculator. So let's make sure you know how to enter stuff into your calculator. That's all I wanted to make sure, in case it's new to you and you haven't done it. So first thing is the calculators and most graphers like to have it say y equals. So look at my example. My equation doesn't say y equals. So real quick, I'm going to make it say y equals. So I'd have 4y. I'm going to move that 2x over. And then after I move the 2x over, I'm going to move the 4 over. And I'm going to have, what is that, negative 2, 4. So negative a half x plus 3. So graphers usually like it like this. Now, cool thing, Desmos would have taken the original, but for sake of fun, I rewrote it anyway. Now let's go ahead and get our graphing calculator and figure it out. So here's the little, in that orange box there, what you want to do is you want to make it right, y equals, then you want to put it in your grapher, and then you want to mess with the window and then tell everybody what you did. And so here's my calculator. I'll fire up virtual Sheila here. And the way you get to this, so you turned on your calculator and you would hit the y equals button, and it's ready to go, right? So I wanted to type in negative a half x plus 3, so I'm going to use the negative sign. Boom. Now a half, I could just do 1 divided by 2, or if you have the newer calculators, it's kind of fun. You hit the alpha y equals, which is the F1 menu because it's the green one, and you have a numerator denominator button. You press number 1 there, and you get a fraction. So I can do 1 over 2, and then I move right with the arrow, and then I can put the x, which is right here next to the alpha button, and then plus 3. And I hit enter, and that's ready to graph, right? At this point, you could hit graph, but I'm going to check my window. You see my window goes from negative 10 to 10 on the x-axis. That's kind of standard and cool. I'm going to change it to negative 5 to 10 just because. And the scale just means how often you want me to put tick marks. Then on the y-axis, let's go negative 4 to 10. And I'm going to change the scale to 2 so you can see there's less tick marks. And then I'm going to hit graph. And bam, there it is. Now remember, the x-axis was going by ones, but the y-axis I was actually marking every 2. So that's why the 3 looks kind of funny. It's right between the 2 and the 4, the y-intercept. And there you go. Now you copy that to your paper and you're good. I have a luxury of saying I can take a picture of it. So I will copy. I think I copied. And then I will go back to my notes, and right about here I will paste it because I don't know where it's going to go. It's one of those. Really? That's where it's going to go? Unbelievable. I'm going to undo that. Maybe I'll put it over here then. Thank you. Yeah, that's really a good location. It goes right there. And then I like to tell people what my x-axis did. I went from negative 5 to 10. And then I say the word by. And then I say I went from negative 4 to 10. And now people know at least what my tick marks are. They're like, hey, there's only 2 tick marks in the negative. He must have gone by 2s. So kind of nice, right? And then last but not least, let's talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. So if you have 2 lines that have the same slope, they're called parallel lines. Unless they have the same y-intercepts, and they're called coinciding lines. If you have 2 lines that are opposite reciprocals of each other, then they are perpendicular. And let's just talk about how you do that. These are probably our more favorite questions to ask because it has everything. You got to find slope, you got to find point slope form or something like that. So first thing I need to know is find out the slope, right? So if I want to be parallel to this guy, I need to know that guy's slope. So let's see, he would be 5y equals negative 4x plus 10. And then I would divide by 5, and I'd have negative 4/5 x plus 2. I don't really care about the plus 2 because all I want is the slope. So if I want a parallel slope that is the exact same slope, then there she is. I want to go through that point, so here we go. Y minus, plus 3, so y minus y1 equals m, and then x minus x1. And there is my gorgeous equation. I found the equation that passes through 2, negative 3, and is parallel to that other line. And I am done. Have a great day. Stay happy. Do your homework twice just for fun. Watch this video again and I'll feel much better. But mute it for me so you can see what it was like. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.